So the next lecture is analysis of full wave rectifier. In this lecture, we will see the circuit diagram of full wave rectifier. Here, full wave rectifier is of two types again: center tapped full wave rectifier and bridge rectifier. So we will see the operation of center tapped full wave rectifier and bridge rectifier, and also we'll see the how the characteristics of these rectifiers are defined and what will be the values of those characteristics for center tapped full wave rectifier and bridge rectifier. Okay. So first we'll go with the center tapped full wave rectifier. So the difference between full wave and half wave rectification is that a full wave rectifier allows unidirectional current to the load during the entire input cycle. So if you see the half wave rectifier, what happens for the full cycle, you will be getting only half cycle of the output. That means the current will flow for only half cycle of the input. But whereas in this full wave rectifier, it allows that current to flow across the load during the entire input cycle, and half wave rectifier will be allowing only during the one half of the cycle. So that is the difference between the full wave rectifier and the half wave rectifier. And the circuit diagram of the full wave rectifier, which is center tapped full wave rectifier, is like this, which has got a transformer, but the transformer is a center tapped transformer. Here center tapped nothing but what the secondary winding, if you take the center of the secondary winding is connected to the ground. That's what we call it as a center tapped. So then the secondary winding is actually divided into two separate windings divided by that center tap. The upper portion will be treated as one winding, the lower portion is treated as the other winding. And these for these secondary windings, two secondary windings now, which are made by center tapping the transformer secondary. In each of these secondary winding, a diode will be connected. So this portion of the this is called a center tap. The center of the transformer secondary winding is connected to the ground, and in the secondary winding, we will be connecting one diode in each of those secondary windings. Okay. So now it is almost like a full wave center tapped full wave rectifier is the combination of two half wave rectifiers. Okay, because secondary winding is converted into two halves. Okay, so each half of the secondary winding is connected to one diode. So D1 is connected to the first part, upper part, and D2 is connected to the lower part, so that these two are independently acting like a two half wave rectifiers. Okay, so what is the operation of a half wave rectifier? You already know. It will conduct only for half cycle. So now two half wave rectifiers are connected here, so that one diode is responsible for conduction of half cycle. The other diode is responsible for the conduction of the rest of the half cycle. So that together both diodes are connected again to the load resistor RL, so that half of the circuit is conducted by diode D1, and that current will be flowing through the resistor RL, and other half of the conduction will be taken. Other half of the cycle is conducted because of the diode D2, that also will be flowing into the load resistor RL. Then both the currents will be added. So which is called as the current flowing in the diode D1 is I1, the current flowing in the diode D2 is I2. So when I1 is flowing, I2 is 0. When I2 is flowing, I1 is 0. Then both these currents will be flowing into the load resistor. Therefore, IL is equal to I1 plus I2. Okay. So the current that is flowing in this one, when this diode is on, is I1. The current that is flowing in this direction in the diode D2, when that current is on, is I2. Therefore, the total current that is flowing in the load resistor will be IL, which is the combination of I1 plus I2. So for the cycle, positive cycle 0 to pi, for the cycle for the positive half cycle 0 to pi, what happens? Diode D1 conducts, D2 is off, D1 is on. Then the current I1 will flow, so that the output current is same as the is nothing but the current that is flowing in the diode D1. Therefore, the first half cycle will conduct. That's what is written. So this first positive half cycle is because of the diode D1 is on. Due to diode D1 is on here. So in this case, D1 is on and D2 is off. Okay, therefore the current that is flowing is first half cycle. Second half cycle, what happens is here D2 is on and D1 is off. Okay, so this is because of the I2 current. So alternately, these two diodes will be switching on and off alternately. Therefore, current I1 will flow for first half cycle, current I2 will flow for second half cycle, and it will be switching again. So I1, I2, I1, I2, and so on. So the D1 is on, D2 is off in the first half cycle, D1 is off, D2 is on in the second half cycle, and so on. So that all these things will be conducted. So, and if now what is happening in the when the diode D2 is on is the negative half cycle, it will be converted into the positive half cycle, and it will be same as your first cycle. So both will be showing in the output. So this is what we call it as a full wave rectified output. Full wave rectified output means it is conducting for the full cycle, but at a time only one diode is responsible for one cycle, one half cycle. So D1 is responsible for first half cycle, D2 is responsible for the second half cycle. So that two half wave rectifiers together is converting the AC input signal to the pulsating DC output signal, which is of the shape of full wave rectified signal. In this case, what is happening is the current equation, if you write between 0 to pi and pi to 2 pi, this is 0, this is pi, and this is 2 pi. From 0 to pi and pi to 2 pi, what happens is from 0 to pi, the current is Im sin omega t. That means for the positive cycle of the input, you will be getting positive cycle of the output. Therefore, the I is equal to Im sin omega t. Okay. Next, coming to the second half cycle, that is from pi to 2 pi. For the negative half cycle of the input, you will be getting positive half cycle in the output. Therefore, it is minus Im sin omega t for pi to 2 pi. That means in both the cases, it is Im sin omega t, Im sin omega t. That means sine waveform will be there both in positive directions. But for the input half cycle, the output is also positive half cycle. Input positive half cycle, the output is also positive half cycle. Therefore, I is equal to Im sin omega t. For the input negative half cycle, you will be getting output as positive half cycle. Therefore, it is minus Im sin omega t. So, both the cycles it is conducting. That's why it is called as a full wave rectifier. So therefore, the input-output waveforms of this full wave rectifier will be shown like this. So it is conducting for full cycle of the input, whereas half wave rectifier will conduct only for half cycle of the input. Next, if you see the detailed operation about this center tap full wave rectifier, during the positive half cycle, diode D1 assumes that short circuit equivalent because diode D1 is on and it is forward biased. And diode D2, the open circuit equivalent because it is reverse biased. When you apply positive half cycle, if this positive half cycle is applied, then the diode D1 is on because of the polarities here shown, positive, negative. So the diode D1 is on. And when the other side, this will be positive, this will be negative. Therefore, negative is connected to the anode of the second diode D2. Therefore, this diode will be off. Okay. So under this case, what happens is your input waveform is like this. Your output waveform will be the waveform across the secondary winding will be of this shape. So whatever the phase is there, the input phase and the output phase, that is output of the secondary winding phase, both will be same in the first winding. So, but whereas in case of second winding, because of the center tap, the voltage appearing across the secondary winding will be second half of the secondary winding will be like this. So this is plus, this is minus, this is minus, this is plus. Okay. So now first half cycle is nothing but what? It is 0 to pi in this case, 0 to pi. Here also it is 0 to pi. So simultaneously for both the diodes, here first half cycle, in the here also first half cycle, here also first half cycle is coming. So in the upper portion, the first half cycle is a positive, therefore this diode is on. In the second half portion, the first half cycle is negative, therefore this diode is off. So under that case, from 0 to pi, what happens? Only D1 is on, D2 is off. Therefore, the current that will be flowing is because of the current in the D1 on diode. Therefore, you will be getting the output which is same as the input in the first half of the secondary winding. So output of this half wave rectifier will be the first half cycle of the first secondary portion of the waveform. So you will be getting the output like this. Now the secondary voltages and the resulting current directions. If you see secondary voltages are like this, indicated by the waveforms. positive cycle in the first portion and negative cycle in the second portion, in the bottom portion. And the current will be only flowing in the diode D1. That current we can call it as a I1 current. Because of I1 current, and I2 current is 0. I2 is 0 here. I1 is flowing, I2 is 0. So only because of I1, the current is flowing in the load resistance. Then IL is actually I1 plus I2. In this case, IL is equal to I1 plus 0. I2 is 0. Therefore, load current is equal to I1 only because of the diode D1. D1 is on. Okay, D2 is off. Therefore, the current that is flowing is I1, and that current is in the positive direction because the input is also positive cycle. You will be getting the output like this. Okay. Next, for negative half cycle, if you see negative half cycle, so you will be getting negative half cycle here means here you will be getting the negative portion like this, negative half cycle. Then your positive next cycle. We have to see the next cycle actually, second cycle. So instead of that, I will represent the same waveform, but we will have to consider that from pi to 2 pi. So what I will do is I will represent the waveform like this, but now we have to see the pi to 2 pi waveform. Okay, and here in this case it will be like this. So pi to 2 pi waveform will be positive this side. So this portion of the waveform from pi to 2 pi is applied now. So pi to 2 pi in the upper portion is negative. So negative is applied, nothing but what this diode D1 is off. In this pi to 2 pi cycle, in the bottom portion, it is a positive cycle. Therefore, the diode D2 is on. So if the diode D2 is on, the current that is flowing in this one is I2. What is the current that is flowing in the first diode I1? Because of it is reverse bias is 0. So you are getting IL is equal to again I1 plus I2. But now I1 diode current I1 will be 0 because D1 is off, and I2 will be flowing. Therefore, IL will be equal to I2 because of the diode D2 which is on. Okay, so the current is now because of the second cycle. So second cycle is again second half cycle is because of this diode D2, and for the bottom portion of the secondary winding, you are applying the positive only. The same positive will be appearing in the output also for the second half cycle between pi to 2 pi. So first half cycle is 0 to pi is also positive direction. Second half cycle is also from pi to 2 pi is also in the positive direction because of the bottom portion of the cycle is taking in the positive direction. So therefore, now both the cycles will appear in the positive direction. First half cycle is because of current I1 in the diode D1. Second half portion from between pi to 2 pi is because of the diode D2 which is on, that is I2. So together, if you take I1 and I2 will be the total current IL. So therefore, the first half cycle is because of I1, second half cycle is because of I2, and 2, it is almost like two half wave rectifiers. 0 to pi is first diode's half wave rectified output. Pi to 2 pi is the second diode's half wave rectified output. Suppose if you take the current of I1 will be the shape of the direction, shape of that one will be like this: 0 to pi, pi to 2 pi. Okay, so the next second I2 current will be, I2 is you will be getting first 0 from 0 to pi, then after that you will be getting the current that is 0 to 2 pi. So if you add both of them, then the overall load current you will get it as IL, which is I1 plus I2. If you take this positive plus 0 will be positive only from 0 to pi. If you add both the waveforms, then this is 0, this is positive. Second half cycle also is pi to 2 pi will be positive. Okay, so total current IL will be I1 plus I2. So waveforms for I1 and I2 will be like that. So I1 is in the diode D1, I2 is in the diode D2. So this is one half wave rectifier output. The G2 is another half wave rectifier output. Then both half wave rectifiers are added. Then you will be getting the output as a full wave rectifier, which is IL is equal to I1 plus I2. So that is what is the operation of this one. So in the positive direction, in the positive half cycle as well as negative half cycle of inputs, your output will be both in the positive direction. That means this full wave rectifier is also converting a bidirectional signal into a unidirectional signal. But your unidirectional signal from 0 to pi also there will be a flow of current. From pi to 2 pi also there is a flow of current. Therefore, entire full cycle it is conducting. From 0 to 2 pi, the input is applied sine waveform. The output of the full wave rectifier is completely from 0 to 2 pi it is conducting, but not because of both the diodes. So it is only 0 to pi is because of D1, pi to 2 pi is because of D2. But entirely, if you see the overall output of this circuit, it is conducting for the entire full cycle from 0 to 2 pi. Therefore, it is called as full wave rectifier. Okay, that is the operation of that one. Now we will see the 11 characteristic parameters for full wave rectifier, like what we have seen even for the half wave rectifier. The same parameters we have seen for full wave, half wave rectifier. Now we will see it for full wave rectifier. Okay, so first we'll start with the IDC. IDC or I average. So what is the definition of this one? Average current of a periodic function. Periodic function, nothing but it is changing its that means the shape of the signal will be same for every period. Period is nothing but one cycle. So 0 to 2 pi, what is the shape? The same shape will be repeated from pi to 2 pi, 2 pi to 4 pi, and so on. So it is called as a periodic function. So for a given for one cycle, whatever the shape is there, the same shape will be repeated for the second period, third period, and so on. So therefore we call that as a periodic function. Then average current of a periodic function is defined as the area of one cycle of the curve divided by the base. So that's what we call it as area of one cycle of the curve is represented by integration of one cycle is nothing but 2 pi up to 2 pi, 0 to 2 pi. Therefore, integration of 0 to 2 pi, and I'm taking the current. We can even take the voltage also. The second parameter is voltage, either voltage or current. If you take the average value will be integral of 0 to 2 pi I d omega t. This is what is the area, and this area is taken divided by the overall base. What is the base here? 2 pi. So 1 by 2 pi integral 0 to 2 pi I into d of omega t. That is the basic formula, where I is equal to Im sin omega t. Okay. Now IDC is equal to 1 by 2 pi. Now this I value is actually Im sin omega t from 0 to pi, but minus Im sin omega t from pi to 2 pi. Therefore, I have got different values of I here from 0 to pi and pi to 2 pi. Therefore, you have to separate these integral limits from 0 to pi and pi to 2 pi. Then you will be getting 0 to pi is Im sin omega t. Pi to 2 pi will be minus Im sin omega t. That's why I have taken the minus here. Okay. So now if you just integrate, take this Im common. Im is common in both the terms. If you take Im common and integrate this sin omega t, integration of sin omega t is minus cos omega t. So minus cos omega t with limits 0 to pi, minus again integration of sin omega t in the second term also is minus cos omega t. Integral limits are pi to 2 pi. Then if you substitute these integral limits, then you will get it as minus cos pi plus cos 0 minus cos 2 pi plus minus 2 minus plus cos pi. So if you substitute the upper limits and lower limits in both the terms, then you will get like this. Then if you substitute the values of cos pi, cos 0, cos 2 pi, and cos pi, then you will get this entire value as 4. This entire bracket term you will get it as 4 Im by 2 pi, then it will become 2 Im by pi. So the IDC value of the full wave rectifier is 2 Im by pi. But what was the IDC value for the half wave rectifier? For half wave rectifier, we got this as IDC is equal to Im by pi. You got it. Im by pi. You got it. Now it is 2 times that of Im by pi. So the full wave rectifier, for full wave rectifier, we got this value of IDC as 2 Im by pi. It is twice of that of the half wave rectifier. So you have to remember this value. IDC is Im by pi for half wave rectifier. IDC is equal to Im by pi for full wave rectifier. Okay. And you know the relationship between Im and Vm. We know Im is equal to Vm by Rf plus Rf. That is the relationship between Im and Vm. Even we can write this IDC in terms of Vm also, just by substituting in place of Im. IDC can be written as 2 into Vm by pi into Rf plus Rf. So we can even write IDC in terms of Vm also. IDC in terms of Im is this one. IDC in terms of Vm can be written like this. But just by relating the Im and Vm by the relationship, Im is equal to Vm by Rf plus Rf. Okay, next. Then average output load current, load voltage is VDC or V average. The same thing, in place of current we have to take voltage. If I am taking V, then we have to take Vm sin omega t. In place of I, if you take Im sin omega t, or we can directly use Ohm's law and just convert the IDC into VDC. Okay, VDC is equal to IDC into RL. That is equal to IDC. Already we got it as 2Im by pi into RL. That is equal to I just converting Im into Vm. Therefore, 2 Vm RL by pi into RF is RL. Then if you take RL is very much greater than RF, then you will get the VDC value as 2 Vm by pi. So VDC for full wave rectifier is 2 Vm by pi. Similarly, for half wave rectifier, what did you see? For half wave rectifier, VDC is Vm by pi. But for full wave rectifier, we are getting it is twice. For full wave rectifier, VDC value is 2 Vm by pi. Is it okay? So that is the thing. Then next parameter. So first two parameters are DC output load voltage, output voltage or output current. Then second one is output voltage. So DC or average output voltage. So Vm by pi, Im by pi. For half wave, full wave, half wave rectifier, for full wave rectifier it is double. So 2 Im by pi and 2 Vm by pi. Very, very important. You have to remember all these things. And relationship between Im and Vm in both the cases, whether it is half wave rectifier or full wave rectifier, in both the cases, the relationship between Im and Vm is Im is equal to Vm divided by Rf plus RL. That is the relationship between Im and Vm. And IDC and VDC values are IDC and VDC are Im by pi and Vm by pi for half wave rectifier. And for full wave rectifier, it is 2 Im by pi and 2 Vm by pi. It is double. Okay. So these points you have to remember. Then the third characteristic parameter is RMS output load current, output current or output or load current, IRMS or IAC. So this is also called as I effective, effective or RMS or AC, all are same. IRMS or IAC or even I effective also we can represent this. Okay, effective current or RMS current or AC current, all are same only. So we call that as current squared of a periodic function. Periodic function here is I or V. Okay, so current current function or periodic function can be current or voltage. So current squared or even voltage squared also. Voltage squared will be RMS voltage. Current squared will be RMS current. So current squared of a periodic function of time is given by the area of one cycle of the curve, which represents the square of the function divided by the base. So we have to take, instead of I, now we have to take I square here, and I square integral of 0 to 2 pi I square d of omega t by 2 pi, and the entire thing we have to apply the square root. So that is what we call it as root mean square of the current periodic function. Okay, now where I is called Im sin omega t again, but this I is called Im sin omega t will be again from pi to 0 to pi it is Im sin omega t, and from pi to 2 pi it will be minus Im sin omega t. But here I square is there, you take either positive squared or negative squared, it will be always positive only. So from 0 to pi it is Im square sin square omega t. From pi to 2 pi is also Im square sin square omega t, because it is minus Im sin omega t whole square will become plus Im square sin square omega t. Okay, now 1 by 2 pi, if you take Im square common in both the cases, Im square by 2 pi, then if you integrate by converting the sin square omega t, 1 minus cos 2 omega t by 2, here also sin square omega t is 1 minus cos 2 omega t by 2, then we have to integrate this 1 minus cos 2 omega 2 by omega t by 2 in both the terms. Before the 2 is common, therefore we can take that and make it as 4 pi in the denominator. And if you integrate, integral 1 d omega t will be omega t, integration of cos 2 omega t will be sin 2 omega t, then the second term you will get sin 2 omega t by 2, because it is cos 2 omega t, integration of cos 2 omega t will be sin 2 omega t by 2. Similarly, the second term also, if you integrate, it will become omega t minus sin 2 omega t by 2. Okay, now the limits 0 to pi and pi to 2 pi you have to substitute. Then we will be getting like Im square by 4 pi into pi minus 0, then omega t is again 0, then sin 2 omega t means sin 0, that is also 0. Then you will get the entire term as Im square by 4 plus Im square by 4 whole power of 1 by 2. Then you will get Im square by 2 whole power of 1 by 2. Then it will be Im square then Im square by 2 whole power 1 by 2 will become Im by root 2. The same thing what we got it for half wave rectifier is Im by 2, but your for full wave rectifier we got it as Im by root 2. So full wave rectifier nothing but it is conducting for full cycle. Even the RMS value of a sine waveform is also Im by root 2. Okay, sine waveform or that is also full cycle conduction. Even this half wave full wave rectified output is also full cycle conduction. So the RMS value of a sine waveform is also Im by root 2. RMS value of this full wave rectified signal is also Im by root 2. In both the cases, it is conducting for the full cycle. Therefore, you will be getting IRMS as Im by root 2. So for half wave rectifier, you will be getting IRMS is equal to Im by 2. But for full wave rectifier, what we got here for full wave rectifier, we got IRMS is equal to Im by root 2. Okay. Now I have taken this for one cycle, right? Generally, what we can do is the full wave rectified waveform will be like this. This I can take it as current waveform. So you will be getting the output current as a full wave rectifier means like this. So 0 to pi, pi to 2 pi. Okay, this is IL. Now, what I have taken is the one cycle, one full cycle of the input is 0 to pi. One full cycle of the output is also 0 to pi. But I'm telling that it is a periodic function, right? Periodic function, nothing but over a period of time, same function is repeated. Suppose if you see from 0 to pi, what is the shape of the signal? This one. From pi to 2 pi is also the same thing. Then for this waveform, we can assume the period as only 0 to pi only, not even required to take from 0 to 2 pi. 0 to 2 pi is actually 2 cycles of the output. Two cycles of the output, nothing but whatever the shape of the signal that is appearing from 0 to pi, the same cycle is appearing from pi to 2 pi also. Same shape is appearing from pi to 2 pi. That means for one full cycle of the input sine waveform, you are getting two full cycles of the output, almost like same shape is repeated, right? Periodic function, nothing but over one period of time or over one cycle, if the shape is defined, the same shape will be repeating for the second period, third period, and so on. So from 0 to pi, whatever the shape is there, from pi to 2 pi is also same shape is there. That means what? For one full cycle of the input is actually what? Full cycle. Full cycle of the sine waveform will be like this. This is input. Okay. Vi we can take Vi. For full cycle of the input, I am getting two cycles of the output. That means what? The frequency of the input and frequency of the output are not same. So the time period is double. Time period is double. This is one cycle, 0 to pi, pi to 2 pi. This is completely is one cycle. This is one cycle. If you see the shape, the now second cycle will be from 2 pi to 4 pi, same sine wave again repeated. Now output of the full wave rectifier is, if you see from here to here, this is two cycles I can call, because one cycle is only from 0 to pi. 0 to pi is only one cycle. The same shape is repeated here. Same shape is repeated from pi to 2 pi. So therefore, for one cycle of input, you are getting two cycles of output. That means the time period is doubled. Time period is doubled, then frequency will be half. Okay. So now what we can do is, why I am telling all these things is, we are calculating the RMS values or the average values for one cycle. One cycle, nothing but 0 to 2 pi. In case of full half wave rectifier, output is one cycle of the input, then your output will be I load for half wave rectifier. This is for full wave rectifier. The middle one is the input for both half wave rectifier or full wave rectifier. The middle one is the input. Then what you will get here, this half cycle is from 0 to pi. From pi to 0, pi to 2 pi will be 0. Same shape will be repeated again after this. That means what? For one cycle of the input, you are getting one cycle of the output, one cycle completely. Though it is 0 also, we have to count it, because that completely is the shape. That means sine wave, then 0. Then next cycle will be again sine wave, then 0. That means what? It is repeating the same shape, whatever that has occurred from 0 to 2 pi, from 2 pi to 4 pi. That means for half wave rectifier, one cycle of the input is one cycle of the output, which is between 0 to 2 pi. But for full wave rectifier, one cycle of the input from 0 to 2 pi will be 2 cycles of the output from 0 to pi and pi to 2 pi, repeating 2 times. So 2 cycles. Now for a periodic function, we can take only for 1 cycle, we can take it, then that is sufficient to calculate the average value or RMS value. So this is one method of calculating for entire 0 to 2 pi. If you want, you can even repeat the same derivation, you will get the same answer. We can even do it for only first cycle only. First cycle is from 0 to pi. So instead of writing this as a formula, we can even write it as IRMS is equal to 1 by pi. That means I'll take only from 0 to pi. Same shape is repeated from pi to 2 pi also. So instead of taking from 0 to 2 pi, I can even take 1 by pi integral 0 to pi, okay, and I square d of omega t whole power of 1 by 2. So if you do it from 0 to pi also by taking the base as pi, this also you will result in the answer as Im by root 2. If you can try it and solve it and you do it. If you take IRMS is equal to 1 by pi integral 0 to pi I square d of omega t, then whole power 1 by 2, then also you will get the answer as Im by root 2. You can take any number of cycles. 0 to pi you can take, 0 to 2 pi you can take, 0 to 3 pi you can take, 0 to 4 pi you can take. The answer you will be getting is only Im by root 2. Okay, you can take for 1 cycle or 2 cycles or 3 cycles. The answer will be Im by root 2 only. So for simplicity, instead of taking it from 0 to 2 pi, you can take it for 0 to pi only in case of full wave rectifier, because the same shape is repeated from pi to 2 pi also. But this will not hold good in half wave rectifier. Half wave rectifier from 0 to 2 pi is completely one cycle. From 0 to pi is sine wave, from pi to 2 pi is 0. Then again the same shape is repeating from 2 pi to 4 pi. 2 pi to 3 pi is again sine wave, 3 pi to 4 pi is again 0. So that means one complete cycle we have to take it from 0 to 2 pi for half wave rectifier, but for one complete cycle of full wave rectifier is only 0 to pi. That is sufficient to take it in the full wave rectifier. That also will result in the correct answer, that is Im by root 2. Even in the DC also, instead of going with this formula, okay, you can even do that for only first cycle. That is 1 by pi, IDC is equal to 1 by pi. Instead of 2 pi, you take 1 pi only. 1 by pi, 0 to pi, I d of omega t. This formula, if you apply also, you will get the answer as 2Im by pi. You will get the answer as 2Im by pi. Why I am doing for up to pi only? Because the shape of the signal from 0 to pi and pi to 2 pi is same. If I'm writing from 0 to 2 pi, 2 cycles I am taking. If I am writing from 0 to pi, 1 cycle I am taking. You can take it either for 1 cycle or 2 cycles or 3 cycles or 4 cycles. Answer will be same. Okay. You can even try by taking 3 pi also. 1 by pi, 3 pi integral 0 to 3 pi I d omega t. That also will result in same, because it is a periodic waveform. So you can do that DC calculation, DC or RMS current calculations for 1 cycle or 2 cycle or any number of cycle. But if you take it for 1 cycle, it will be more simple. Otherwise, you have to keep on integrating many terms, and you have to substitute the values of sine 3 omega t's, cos 3 omega t's, all those things. That will be little difficult. So you will be getting more simplified version if you do it for 0 to pi. That is the another modification. You can try it out. Then average DC or average, sorry, this is RMS. This is RMS voltage, right? AC or RMS output voltage. So AC or RMS output voltage will be again VRMS. Ohm's law you can apply simply. Ohm's law if you apply, what you will get? VRMS is called IRMS into RL. IRMS is nothing but Im by root 2 into RL. That is equal to Im. Again, you know the relationship between Im and VL. Im is equal to Vm by Rf plus RL. Very, very important relationship, this one. Im in terms of Vm. That we have substituted here. Then we got this. Then taking this assumption that RL is very much greater than RF, then you will get VRMS is equal to Vm by root 2. So for half wave rectifier, the RMS value VRMS is Vm by 2, but for full wave rectifier, it is VRMS is equal to Vm by root 2. Okay, this I am writing just for comparison. What was the value for half wave rectifier? What is the value for full wave rectifier? Next parameter, efficiency. You know efficiency is equal to the ratio of output DC power divided by input AC power, PDC by PAC. Now you know how to calculate PDC and PAC. PDC is equal to IDC square into RL. IDC already we calculated in the previous step as 2Im by pi. Since IDC is equal to 2Im by pi. Substitute that 2Im by pi. Here you will get 4Im square by pi square into RL. Then PAC is equal to IRMS square into RF plus RL. This is at the secondary winding before the diode. This is after the diode. So that's why RF plus RL is added here. RL is only there in the PDC. Okay. Then here you will get IRMS value here is IRMS is equal to Im by root 2. If you substitute that I in place of IRMS, Im by root 2, then Im square by 2 you will get into RF plus RL. Now these two values if you substitute in the formula, eta is equal to PDC by PAC, then PDC by PAC is equal to, you will get it as 8 by pi square into 1 plus R. Earlier you got it as 4 by pi square for half wave rectifier, now it is 8 by pi square. 8 by pi square and 4 by pi square, it is twice. So 40.6 you got it in the previous case, now it is 81.2, double of that. So the rectifier efficiency of the full wave rectifier is double or twice that of the half wave rectifier. Okay, so efficiency of full wave rectifier is twice that of the efficiency of half wave rectifier. Okay, so half wave rectifier the efficiency is 40.6. Full wave rectifier the efficiency you got it as 81.2. Very important. So the disadvantage of that half wave rectifier is the efficiency is less, 40.6. Now the full wave rectifier the efficiency of the half wave rectifier is 40.6. It has doubled, so 81.2. That means what? This half wave full wave rectifier is better than half wave rectifier in terms of rectifier efficiency, because it is 2 times that of the efficiency of the half wave rectifier. So it is 81.2, whereas half wave rectifier it is 40.6. Okay, so you have to remember this formula. A percentage efficiency is equal to 81.2 divided by 1 plus RF by RL. If RL is very much greater than RF, then percentage efficiency is equal to 81.2 percentage when RF by RL is equal to 0. Next, ripple factor. You already know the definition of the ripple factor. It is defined as the ratio of RMS value of AC component to the DC component in the output, that we call it as ripple factor. And if you substitute the ripple factor formula, the ripple factor formula is the standard formula. You can take this gamma is equal to the root of IRMS by IDC whole square minus 1. In terms of voltages, it is VRMS by VDC. Just IRMS is replaced by VRMS, IDC is replaced by VDC. Now IRMS, IDC we already know for full wave rectifier. IRMS is Im by root 2, IDC is 2Im by pi. Just I substituted that here and calculated, then you got the gamma value as 0.48. So what happened to the ripple factor here? Ripple factor should be as small as possible, as low as possible. Ideally, ripple factor should be 0. But for half wave rectifier, what is that? We got half wave rectifier, the ripple factor gamma is equal to 1.21. Now for full wave rectifier, we got the ripple factor gamma is equal to 0.48. Which one is the advantageous? Earlier we said that the disadvantage of half wave rectifier is ripple factor is 1.21, which is very high. Now it has come down to 0.48, which is low. So full wave rectifier has got low ripple factor compared with half wave rectifier. Therefore, this full wave rectifier is better than the half wave rectifier. Okay, but ideally, what should be the value of the ripple factor gamma? It should be 0. But whichever value is more close to 0 is the advantageous one. Which is more close to 0 here? Full wave rectifier ripple factor, which is 0.48. Therefore, full wave rectifier with respect to ripple factor, it is best compared with half wave rectifier. Half wave rectifier is having, that means it shows that the AC content present in the full wave rectifier output will be less compared with the AC content present in the output of the half wave rectifier. So AC, which portion of the AC is more, which circuit is having more AC, that is disadvantageous, because we are trying to get the DC at the output, but full wave rectifier is having less AC at the output compared with the half wave rectifier. Therefore, full wave rectifier is best one compared with the half wave rectifier in terms of ripple factor. Okay. Next, coming to the regulation, we have calculated the regulation. Regulation shows the variation of the DC output voltage as a function of DC load current. That means we have to tell how this VDC is expressed as a function of IDC. If IDC changes, how VDC is going to change. If it is not changing, then that is we call it as a good regulation. If it is keep changing, then that particular circuit is not having a good regulation. Okay. So the formula is percentage regulation is called V no load minus V full load by V full load into 100. Now to calculate the relationship between IDC, VDC and IDC, then we can write IDC is equal to 2Im by pi or 2Vm by pi into RL plus RL. But already we know VDC is equal to IDC into RL. You just substitute that value of IDC here. Then you get the relationship between VDC and IDC like this. The same derivation what we have done for half wave rectifier, we are repeating so that I am getting a VDC as a function of IDC. Okay. Now in this formula, equation number 1, if you make IDC is equal to 0, if you make IDC is equal to 0, second term will become 0, then that we call it as VDC no load. No load nothing but what? No load nothing but the current is 0. No load is current is 0. Full load means current is maximum. No load means the circuit output is open circuit. Full load means it is short circuit. So no, open circuit will have a current 0. Short circuit will have a current maximum. Okay, so VDC no load is 2 Vm by pi. VDC full load. VDC no load I am calculating by assuming IDC is equal to 0. VDC full load I am calculating by assuming IDC is not equal to 0. Not equal to 0 means same equation we can take, or this has been derived from which equation? IDC into RL. So same IDC into RL will be existing here. So VDC full load will be either this one or this has been derived from IDC into RL, because the current that will be flowing in the load resistor is IDC, the load resistance value is RL. So directly we can take that and substitute these two values, VDC full load and VDC no load, in this formula. What is that formula? V no load minus V full load by V full load into 100. Substituting that, first term is V no load, I have substituted with 2 Vm by pi. Second term is V full load. V full load means we can substitute this, we got it this. Then denominator V full load, I can write this, or I can even replace that with simply IDC into RL. Then we'll get that as into 100 is equal to IDC into RL by VDC. We can get, or otherwise we can write this this as Ohm's law. We can convert that as RL. So we'll get our percentage regulation is equal to RF by RL. Same value we got it even for the half wave rectifier also. So half wave rectifier percentage regulation is RF by RL into 100. Full wave rectifier percentage regulation is also RF by RL into 100. But this equation number 1, there will be a difference. Here 2 Vm by pi is there. But in case of half wave rectifier, it is just Vm by pi. You will get to VDC is equal to Vm by pi minus IDC RF. Here in this case, you will get it as 2 Vm by pi minus IDC into RF. Okay. So here it is RF. And the entire thing can be replaced simply with IDC into RL also. IDC will cancel, you will get RL. Okay. So this is the formula. Very, very important formula. This VDC is equal to 2 Vm by pi minus IDC into RF for full wave rectifier. The same formula for half wave rectifier will be VDC is equal to Vm by pi minus IDC into RF. This is the equation for half wave rectifier. This is the equation for full wave rectifier. What is the difference? This is first term is Vm by pi. Here first term is 2 Vm by pi, because the DC value is Vm by pi in case of half wave rectifier, 2 Vm by pi in case of full wave rectifier. Okay. So next parameter is transformer utilization factor. Transformer utilization factor is TUF is equal to PDC by PAC rated. Okay. This formula you already know. TUF is equal to PDC by PAC rated. PDC is nothing but output DC power. Output DC power already we have calculated. That is nothing but IDC into VDC we can do, or IDC square into RL we can do. IDC square into RL nothing but what? IDC in this case is 2 Im by pi. Directly I have substituted. I have not written separately. If you want, you can write it as PDC is equal to IDC square into RL. IDC is nothing but 2 Im by pi whole square into RL. The same thing I substituted here. Okay, same thing I substituted here in the formula. Next, then PAC rated is PAC rated. I'm doing this for the primary winding. Okay, for primary winding of the transformer. So primary winding of the transformer, if you take, it will be VRMS into RMS. PAC rated is VRMS into IRMS. Primary winding, what waveform you will be getting? Sine waveform. Sine waveform, what is VRMS? Vm by root 2. IRMS is also Im by root 2. Okay, that is the one. So here anyhow PDC is written anyhow. The same thing I have written there, but it is written here also. Then PAC rated is there, PDC is there. Both of them you substitute in the first formula, the definition. Then TUF of the primary, TUF of the primary, this one, suffix P means primary, is equal to PDC by PAC rated. That is equal to substitute both. PDC is this one, PAC rated is this one. This divided by this. Then you will get finally the answer is 0.812 you will get. Okay. Here RL will cancel, IM square will cancel. Then it will be 4 by pi. 4 by pi you will get, it is 0.812. 0.812 is the transform utilization factor of the primary winding. Now already secondary winding transform utilization factor we calculated in the half wave rectifier. What was that transform utilization factor of the secondary? Because here how many half wave rectifiers are there in a full wave rectifier? 2 half wave rectifiers are there. So transform utilization factor of the secondary already we calculated. What was that answer? 0.287. Now here how many secondary windings are there? If you see the transformer, this is the primary winding. Okay, secondary winding, secondary if you take, secondary winding is like this, but it is divided into two parts by center of that transformer is connected to ground. So now this is the primary. Okay, this is secondary. Even this is also secondary. So how many secondaries are there? Two secondaries are there because of the center tap. The middle of the secondary winding is connected to ground, so that I am dividing the secondary winding into two parts, two windings. So secondary windings are two here, primary winding is one here. Then entire the transformer utilization factor can be calculated as the average of these two, nothing but what? Average means only two windings you have to take, primary and secondary, but secondary is divided into two parts. But though we can calculate all those things as two windings only, then average will become like this. Transformer utilization factor average will be the last line formula. Transformer utilization of the primary plus transformer utilization of the secondary plus why I am taking two times here is two windings are there. Two half wave rectifiers are there. Each of those secondary winding is applied to one half wave. So transformer utilization factor of secondary plus transformer utilization factor of secondary by 2 I am taking. 2 I am taking because this entire secondary is treated as only one coil. The primary is treated as one coil. Therefore, the average will be only divided by 2. Then you will get 0.812 plus 0.287. 0.812 already we got it here. 0.287 we derived already in the half wave rectifier. Therefore, I am not deriving that. Then 0.287 is also second of also the same repetition. Then if you take this entire, then you will get it as 0.693. Therefore, the transformer utilization factor of the full wave rectifier is 0.693. Transformer utilization factor of the half wave rectifier is 0.287. Now, what was the disadvantages in half wave rectifier? The transformer utilization factor is low. Low means only 2.287. It should be high. High means it should be equal to 1. It should be more close to 1. Ideal value is 1, but more close to 1 it should be. So now you got it as 0.693. Now this is little high compared with half wave rectifier. So therefore, which is preferred, full wave rectifier or half wave rectifier with respect to transformer utilization factor? Full wave rectifier is preferred because its value is higher than the half wave rectifier. So this is 0.693 is the transformer utilization factor for full wave rectifier. Very, very important. Okay. Next, peak inverse voltage. What is the peak inverse voltage here? It is defined as the maximum reverse voltage that a diode can withstand without destroying the junction. So the peak inverse voltage across a diode is the peak of the negative half cycle. For full wave rectifier, the peak inverse voltage is 2 Vm. How we got that? Just take this circuit diagram. Now these two are the two windings of the secondary. The middle one is the center tap. I can put this as a ground here. Center tap. The middle one is the center tap. Okay. Now, if you see the secondary winding, whatever the voltage is there across this, okay, because this diode is short circuited. Now, peak inverse voltage I will be calculating across the reverse biased diode. When this diode is this is D1, suppose this is D1. Here you have got a diode D2, the remaining portion. Here it is D2. But when the D1 is reverse bias, this is reverse bias. That is nothing but off. That's why open circuit I kept. When that is off, what about the D2? It should be forward biased and it should be on. On nothing but what? Short circuit. I have to make it a short circuit. Then whatever the voltage that is appearing across the secondary winding, the same voltage will be appearing across the load resistance. Therefore, it comes as a minus Vm here. Now, if you apply the KVL to this loop, then you will get it as minus PIV plus PM plus PM is equal to 0. Then PIV will be this voltage and this voltage. Both these voltages are added to get to appear across the diode D1, which we call it as a peak inverse voltage. So peak inverse voltage is equal to VM. Okay, whereas the peak inverse voltage in case of a half wave rectifier was VM. Now it is 2 VM. So the peak inverse voltage across a diode is the peak of the negative half cycle. So the negative half cycle for full wave rectifier PIV will be 2 VM. Okay, so this is the answer for PI. Next, form factor, just definition we have. Form factor is RMS value by average value. What is RMS value? Im by root 2. Average value is 2Im by pi. You already know those two things from the first and third derivations. Then we can do that as Im by root 2 by 2Im by pi is equal to 1.12. Okay, form factor is 1.12 or 1.11. Next, peak factor is definition is peak factor is called peak value by VRMS or RMS value. That means VM divided by VM by root 2. So that is root 2. Root 2 means 1.414. That is the form factor, peak factor. So form factor is 1.11. Peak factor is 1.14. Okay. So these are all the 11 parameters for half wave, full wave rectifier. So you can compare all these parameters with full wave, half wave rectifier, and you can say that whatever the disadvantage that we have come across in the full wave, half wave rectifier, those all are overcome in this because they are showing better results than the half wave rectifier. In terms of efficiency, it is 40.6 now increased to 81.2. In terms of ripple factor, 1.21 is reduced to 0.48. In terms of transformer relation factor, 0.287 is increased to 0.693. So like that, all the disadvantages that we have seen in half wave rectifier are improved in case of full wave rectifier. Whether it is ripple factor, it is decreased, efficiency and transformer relation factor both are increased. So therefore, full wave rectifier is better than the half wave rectifier in all these parameters. Now, you can even say what are the advantages and disadvantages of this full center tapped full wave rectifier. Ripple factor is low, efficiency is high, advantages. Even you can write the third one also as transformer relation factor is also high. But we can even get more than that also in another rectifier called bridge rectifier. But these two are the advantages. Ripple factor is low, efficiency is high. So ripple factor actually for half wave rectifier and full wave rectifier, if you see half wave rectifier it is 1.21, full wave rectifier it is 4.48. Efficiency here is 40.6% for half wave rectifier. For full wave rectifier, it is 81.2%. So it has increased and it has decreased. So ripple factor is decreased, efficiency is increased. So those two are the advantages. Next, coming to the disadvantages, it is costly because it is using the bulky center tap transformer. Center tap transformer is bulky. Okay. Therefore, it is costly. Because of this transformer only, the cost of the circuit will be increasing. Now, transformer relation factor is somewhat low only, though it is improved among the compared with half wave rectifier, but still we can feel that it is low because it should be more close to 1. Okay, so half wave rectifier we got it as a 0.287. Now full wave rectifier we got it as 0.693, and we have got another rectifier, bridge rectifier. We can still increase that value to what value we will see now, but it should be ideally more close to, it should be more close to, I told now, more close to 1. Okay, more close to 1. The transformer relation factor should be ideally it should be 1, or any circuit which is having more close to 1 will be always better. So it is 0.287 in half wave rectifier, 0.693 for full wave rectifier. Maybe there is another circuit full wave rectifier which is bridge rectifier. If we get more than that, then definitely it will be advantageous for us. So transformer relation factor is still low only, but we have got another circuit which will improve further this transformer utilization factor to more close to 1. Okay, so these are all the advantages and disadvantages of center tap full wave rectifier. Now, to avoid these things, this is a costly, right, which is using bulky center tap transformer. The same full wave rectifier operation we can get by using normal transformer, step down transformer without center tapping, but we have to use 2 more diodes extra. So we have used only 2 diodes in this circuit. Now we will use 4 diodes and the transformer is not center tapped, a normal transformer we'll use, so that diode cost will be less compared with the transformer cost. Transformer, and it is bulky also. So that transformer, we can make it as normal transformer, but we can increase the diodes by 2 more numbers, so that 4 diodes it will become, and that particular disadvantage we can eliminate, that the circuit is costly. And we can even have eliminate this disadvantage of transformer utilization factor is still low. We can further increase beyond 0.693. That is nothing but your bridge rectifier circuit. So to overcome these two disadvantages, we will be going for another circuit called bridge rectifier. Okay. So it is only we will focus on these parameters, the circuit construction and how circuit is replaced with the center tap transformer with a normal transformer, and we will be adding 2 more diodes. Then what will be the operation of that circuit? Then all other remain same except that the transformer utilization factor and peak inverse voltage, because here the number of diodes are increasing, the peak inverse voltage of each diode is how much, that we have to see. So out of 11 parameters, 11 characteristic parameters, all others will remain same, all remain same. Okay, all remain same except TUF and peak inverse voltage, okay, of each diode. So except these two remaining things, we will not do anything, because same thing is applicable for this bridge rectifier also. Only transformer utilization factor and peak inverse voltage of each diode that is present in this bridge rectifier we will see. Okay, so now what is the bridge rectifier? The circuit diagram will be like this. Bridge rectifier will have 4 diodes connected in this fashion, so that again the same output you will be getting. Output what you are getting will be full sine waveform only. There is no change in the output, but only circuit diagram is changing. A center tap transformer is replaced by a normal step down transformer, and instead of 2 diodes we are now connecting the that means the purpose of center tap transformer is now served by the extra 2 diodes that are added in the circuit. So the diode network is now taking care of this, making both the cycles to conduct. Okay. So the need of center tap transformer in a full wave rectifier is eliminated in the bridge network. That is very, very important. Center tap transformer is removed in the bridge network. That is not there. In center tap transformer,
Yeah, I think there is some technical issues for Rajendra sir. I think he'll be joined within a couple of minutes. So meanwhile, what we can do is, as of now, so sir explained that half wave rectifier in the last class, and today we explained the full wave rectifier. And the major advantages of the full wave rectifier is, so efficiency is good, efficiency is high, and the ripple factor is low, that is 0.48, and the transfer mutilation factor is also good, but compared to the half wave rectifier, it is good. That is transmethylation factor is 0.693. Okay, but a half wave rectifier it is 0.287. Compared to half wave it is good, but still it has to be improved. That is the difference, and then that can be improved by the bridge rectifier. Okay, and sir. Hello, sir.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Some network problem is there in college. But I am now using my mobile data. Okay, I will just continue the class from there. Till which point? Full wave rectifier was over, right? Center tapped. Till that point you were there. Till that point, I think I have covered in the previous session. I don't know where I lost it because I just keep continuing. I just identified in the middle. Nagarjuna, ekkada varaku cheppanu? Where I
First slide of bridge rectifier, sir.
Okay, I'll just start from bridge rectifier. Now I am using this laptop. I'll just share the screen. Okay. So can you see the screen now?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So bridge rectifier, the need of the center tap transformer in a full wave rectifier is eliminated in the bridge rectifier. Okay. Now the operation of the bridge rectifier during the positive half cycle, D1, D2 assumes the short circuit equivalent. Now in the four diodes D1, D2, D3, D4 which are arranged in the bridge fashion, out of these four diodes, two diodes will be on for positive cycle and the other two diodes will be on for the negative cycle, and thereby again you will be getting the full cycle in the output. Okay, so for the positive half cycle, which two diodes are on? Nothing but D1 and D2. If you see the if you see the conduction of the green color diodes here, D1 and D2, which are forward biased or closed circuit or short circuited, the direction of the flow of current also you can just see in this diagram. D3 and D4 are open circuited, they are reverse biased and open circuited, and the secondary voltages and the resulting current direction will be shown in the pink color direction, so that you will be getting the output half wave cycle, positive cycle, which is same as the positive cycle of the input. Okay, so during the positive half cycle, D1 and D2 are on, D3 and D4 will be off, and the current will be flowing in the secondary winding through these diodes and the load resistor. Therefore, the output across the load resistor will be the first positive half cycle of the input. It is getting the same output which is same as the input in the first positive half cycle. Okay. Now in this case, D1, D2 are conducting, D3, D4 are non-conducting. Next, coming to the negative half cycle, the negative half cycle D1 and D2 are open circuited, they are reverse biased, and D3 and D4 will be flowing, and that current will be constituting to flow in the load resistor for the negative half cycle in the positive direction. So therefore, the other half cycle also we will be getting the output, so that both half cycles of the inputs we are getting the output conducted. So the entire full cycle of the input, the output is also conducting by this fashion. So at a time, how many diodes are conducting? Only 2 diodes are conducting. For the positive half cycle, D1, D2 conducts. For the negative half cycle, D3, D4 conducts. In both the cases, the current will be flowing in the load resistor RL, and it will be conducting all the time from 0 to pi, as well as from pi to 2 pi. Therefore, you will be getting the output as a full wave rectified signal. Okay. Now from there onwards, the circuit is the circuit elements. This is only the difference, and the operation is different. But when coming to the shape of the output waveform, it will be same as that of the center tapped full wave rectifier. So one cycle of this full wave rectifier, we can take it from 0 to pi, and thereby we can calculate all the characteristic parameters like DC currents, DC voltage, RMS current, and RMS voltage. We can take it only from the 0 to pi value. Okay, for one cycle is 0 to pi value, and you can proceed. All other remaining DC current, DC voltage, RMS current, RMS voltage, then efficiency, ripple factor, regulation, almost all are same. Only the thing is that here at a time 2 diodes are conducting, but in case of center tapped full wave rectifier, at a time only 1 diode conducts. If one diode is conducting, what is its internal resistance is RF. But here 2 diodes are conducting and they are in series. What will be its internal resistance? 2 diodes are in series. Each diode is having its internal resistance is RF. Then whenever we come across the forward resistance because of the on diodes, we have to take in place of RF as 2RF. Okay. So wherever we get RF of center tapped full wave rectifier, in bridge rectifier we have to replace that with 2RF. Okay, because 2 diodes are conducting at a time, and both of them are in series with the load resistance. Therefore, we can write the current relationship with IM VM relationship as IM is equal to VM divided by actually it is RF plus RL, but now 2 diodes are there, then each diode is having RF, then we have to write 2F plus RL. So it will become IM is equal to VM by 2F plus RL. Okay, so that is the only change. Wherever we come across the relationship between IM and VM, we have to write it as IM is equal to VM by 2RF plus RL. All others remaining same. Okay, now the transformer utilization factor here, the primary transformer utilization factor already we have calculated as 0.812. The secondary also will be having full cycle. Therefore, that also we can take it as a 0.812. So the transformer utilization factor of the primary and the transformer utilization factor of the secondary both will be 0.812. Then if you take the average of that, 0.812 plus 0.812 by 2 will be again 0.812 only. So the transformer utilization factor of this bridge rectifier is 0.812 when compared with the transformer utilization factor of full wave rectifier 0.693 and half wave rectifier is 0.287. That disadvantage of those two circuits being low transformer utilization factor, now it has been eliminated by getting the transformer utilization factor as 0.812, which is more close to 1. Okay, so that is the one advantage that we have overcome by this bridge rectifier circuit. And next one is peak inverse voltage. If you say take peak inverse voltage, the circuit diagram for ideal diodes, it will be at a time 2 diodes are on, then 2 diodes are on. Actually the peak inverse voltage in full wave rectifier we got it as 2 Vm. Here also the peak inverse voltage is 2 Vm, but at a time 2 diodes are on. Across each diode it will share equally, because both diodes are identical diodes and their cut-in voltages are same. All these 4 diodes cut-in voltages are same, and all these 4 are identical. Therefore everything is shared among these diodes. At a time if 2 diodes are on, then the entire PIV will be 2 Vm, but each diode the peak inverse voltage will be Vm. Okay, suppose if it is a practical diode, what happens if it is if the diode is on, then the voltage across that diode will be 0.7 volts. The same thing is applicable even for the previous case also, but in that case there is no diode that is existing other than the reverse bias diode. In the circuit where we are applying KVL, there is only one diode in previous 2 cases. Therefore that diode is also reverse bias. Therefore for the ideal case and practical case, in the previous 2 circuits the peak inverse voltage is Vm and 2 Vm. Okay, in half wave rectifier it is Vm, in full wave rectifier it is 2 Vm. But in case of this diode, this circuit, it will be peak inverse voltage of the ideal diode is Vm. Peak inverse voltage of the practical diode, if you want, we can take the cut-in voltage of the on diode. That is also again actually 0.7 plus 0.7 is 1.4, but for one diode it will be only 0.7. Therefore Vm plus 0.7 we can write. Okay, so the peak inverse voltage of bridge rectifier is 2 Vm for 2 diodes, but for one diode if you want it should be Vm. That should be clarity. So peak inverse voltage of one diode is Vm, peak inverse voltage of 2 diodes is 2 Vm. Whereas in case of full wave rectifier with center tap transformer, for one diode itself we got it as 2 Vm. Very important difference here. For full wave rectifier, the peak inverse voltage for one diode only is 2 Vm. But in this case, for 2 diodes it is 2 Vm, for one diode it is Vm only. Okay, that is the difference between full wave rectifier and bridge rectifier in terms of PIV. Then the advantages and disadvantages. No center tap transformer is required, that is an advantage. Then the transformer utilization factor is considerably high compared with all half wave rectifier and full wave rectifier with center tap. Then peak inverse voltage is reduced across the diode. So in a full wave rectifier with center tap transformer, across one diode itself 2 Vm. Now here across one diode is Vm. So peak inverse voltage is reduced across the diode compared with the center tap transformer based full wave rectifier. Okay, that is another comparison between center tap transformer based full wave rectifier and a bridge rectifier. Then the disadvantage, the only disadvantage of full bridge rectifier is the use of 4 diodes. 4 diodes we'll be using, whereas in previous 2 cases it is only 1 diode and 2 diodes, as compared to 2 diodes for the center tap full wave rectifier. This reduces the output voltage. Output voltage will be reduced because 1 diode if I am using, the output amplitude will be reduced by 0.7 volts. 2 diodes if I am using, the output voltage amplitude will be reduced by 1.4 volts. So the disadvantage of this one is a low output voltage because of the 2 diodes are there. Okay, so the practical diodes if you take, it will be Vm minus 1.4. Vm minus 1.4 if you take silicon diodes, whereas in case of the previous cases it is Vm minus 0.7. Okay, so that is the case. Next, with this I think all full wave rectifiers are over. Then just we'll see the summary of all the parameters, 11 parameters, comparing for all the 3 types of rectifiers. IDC is Im by pi for half wave, 2 Im by pi for full wave in both center tapped as well as bridge. Okay, this second center tap full wave rectifier, most of the columns will be similar, only except the 2 parameters. Those 2 parameters are transformer utilization factor and PIV, and the relationship between Im and Vm. Remaining things almost all are same. So you can just compare all of these parameters. AC or RMS current is Im by 2, then Im by root 2, Im by root 2. DC or average output load voltage is Vm by pi, 2 Vm by pi, 2 Vm by pi. RMS voltage is Vm by 2, Vm by root 2, Vm by root 2. Then efficiency is 40.6% off wave, 81.2, 81.2 in both full wave center tap as well as bridge. Ripple factors also 1.21, 0.48, 0.48. regulation RF by RL into 100 in even center tapped full wave rectifier also is RF by RL into 100. But bridge rectifier it is 2 RF. I told right, bridge rectifier has got 2 diodes conducting at a time. Center tapped transformer based full wave rectifier is having only 1 diode conducting at a time. So 2 diodes are there, nothing but 2 resistances we have to take. 2 RF plus RF, both are in series. 2 RF it will become. So bridge rectifier, wherever there is RF is there, you have to write 2 RF. Okay, even in the last line also peak current, if you see Im is equal to Vm by Rs plus Rf plus RL. Even the secondary winding resistance also I am considering, therefore Rs plus Rf plus RL. In full wave center tapped also Rs plus Rf plus RL. But in bridge rectifier you can take Rs plus 2 RF plus RL. Wherever RF is there, you have to write 2 RF in place of bridge rectifier. Okay, then regulation is over. Transformer utilization factor is increased. See, from half wave rectifier to bridge rectifier 0.287, 0.693, 0.812. Then peak inverse voltage is Vm in half wave, 2 Vm in full wave center tapped, then 2 Vm in bridge also for 2 diodes, but each diode is Vm. That is very, very important point. Then form factor is 1.57, 1.12, 1.12. Peak factor is 2, √2, √2. Okay, so these are all parameters are same except transformer utilization factor and peak current, then regulation. Where 2F is there, RF is there, you have to write 2 RF. Otherwise, all are same. So these are all the comparisons of half wave rectifier, full wave rectifier, and bridge rectifier. Okay, so